Welcome to the show. Tonight we have big laughs, interviews, games, and what more. Here on Chilling3000 Hangouts with their host, David 3000. Alright, hello everybody. It's me, David here, along with Jerry, for this 173rd episode of Chilling3000 Hangouts. As we are live presenting you this interview for tonight. How are you doing tonight, Jerry? You're muted. You're on mute. You're on mute, Jerry.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
There we go. Much better. Yes.
Awesome.
How you doing?
Awesome. Good things. I'm thrilled and delighted to be with you tonight, David. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for taking your time to do this interview. As for those who are wondering how we met, well, I have a friend requested him on Facebook. I'm not quite sure when, but I saw him here as an announcer, which was pretty cool. And so apparently, he is also from my state of Massachusetts as well. And you lived you said north of Boston. You said, right? So,
Yes.
So it's pretty cool to see many people I know online who are from Massachusetts. And you lived in Boston all your life, correct?
Let's see. In my 50 years on Earth, I've been in Massachusetts. Let's see. I probably about. Let's see. I would say about 34 to about 35 years. I was in the Midwest from 2004 to 2016. I was in Central Illinois for about 7 years, and I was in Northwest Indiana for about 6 years. So I would say about 38 years in Boston, in the Boston area. So the majority of my time, I grew up in the Boston area. I went to high school and then in college in the Boston area, and I've been back in Boston since 2016. So far, it's been a pretty good ride so far, David.
Yes, indeed. And 34 years. Well, there's a number I've been hearing a lot for the past couple of years. I just don't know why, but no, it's good thing it's not 13 with the Chiefs. So tell us about your play-by-play. What is public address announcing that you've been doing for a lot of decades now?
It's amazing. I was at the right place at the right time, David. It all started in January 1989. Freshman at Revere High School. My freshman math teacher happened to be the girls' basketball coach. It's amazing. I hit the lottery there because there were a lot of math teachers. There were about at least 4 or 5 freshman math teachers at the high school, and I happened to be in the math classroom of the girls' basketball coach. I started out as a cameraman and a manager, and my camera skills were so-so, but the coach said, "I know you like announcing. Would you like to do some public address announcing for the girls' basketball team?" This was back in January 1989. I was a freshman, and I go, "Sure, why not?" And from that point forward, David, the rest is history. It's public address announcing has taken me to places that I never thought I'd imagine going, and it's been a 36-year ride. It's been a great ride, and a lot of experience, a lot of different schools and sports and all that. It's just been awesome. And when the athletic director gave me like $5 when I was a freshman, he when we shook my hand, gave me a $5 bill. I go, "What's this?" He goes, "Hey, you're an announcer." And from that point forward, I've been a professional announcer. I said, so I'll tell you, when I got that $5 bill, David, I thought I got like $5 million. It was gold. It was awesome. I said, wow, I'm a pro now. So
Yeah.
it's,
And you
it's
told
great.
me before we went on the air that you had some idols uh, that you looked up to as for announcing. Tell us about that story. You told me before we went on the air.
Sure, David. And I'll tell you, in the Boston area, we've had a lot of great public address announcers. We've had Andy Jick, who was the voice of the Boston Celtics during most of the Larry Bird era. Joel Perlmutter, who also did the Boston Bruins around that time. He had a very distinctive voice, and I'm a big horse racing fan. And in the '80s, and for this track announcer at the old Suffolk Downs racetrack, his name was Jim Hannon, and he had some powerful pipes, and he had a pretty cool style. And so those gentlemen definitely were influential for sure in my public address announcing career. And so and sometimes I'll throw I'll kind of like use some of their style into my style too. So I'll use a little bit of Andy Jick, a little bit of Joel Perlmutter, a little bit of Jim Hannon, and a little bit of my style too. I'm not gonna lie to you. Those are the guys who definitely uh, got me going, and I look to them on how to be a good PA announcer. So yeah, those guys are definitely influential for sure.
And you told me that they did a moment of silence somewhat with no announcing. Tell us about that for Boston College.
Sure. In 2019, so Andy Jick, after he did his Boston Celtics run, he did the Celtics from 1980 to 1997. And then he took a I'm not sure we did between 97 and 2001, but he did Boston College sports from 2001 to 2019. He did basketball. He did a little bit of hockey and some baseball. So in the spring of 19, he was ready to do some baseball, and there was a 3-game series against Boston College, part of the ACC. They played an ACC team. I forget which team it was. I think it was somewhere in Virginia, I believe. I'm not sure. I forget, but it was a 3-game series. So Mr. Jick passed away in 2000 and in the spring of 2019. The first home game was at Edwards Field. I believe that's the home field of the Boston College Eagles baseball team. And the first game after he passed away was done in silence in his memory, because out of respect for Mr. Jick. And then the second game, so they were looking for an announcer for that second game, and a friend of mine, I think you know him as well, John Leahy, um, longtime college hockey announcer, also minor league baseball announcer. He said, "Hey, guess what? There's a job opening for a public address announcer for the second game." And I said, "Oh my gosh, what an honor it would be to do the BC game." And I gotta say, it was one of 2 times in my public address announcer career where I was really, really nervous, because I just wanted to do a good job, and I really wanted to do them proudly. And and I and they said I did a halfway decent job, and I was very humble. I was very humbled by the opportunity uh,
Mhm.
to do the Boston College baseball game. And then on the third day, it was done by Mike Riley. He's known as Sarge Riley, and he's a
Okay.
longtime radio sports radio guy. He also does the New England Revolution soccer team. I think he's also the backup to Patriots announcer John Rook on the
Yeah.
public address. So but that was something, because um, I put a lot. It was and they said just do a good job. I said, you know what, I said I just want to do Andy Jick proudly. That that
Yeah.
because he was
And
he
the
was
game
he
before
was like
that, there was no announcing. You told me there was
no
no announcing.
announcing exactly out of respect because he definitely was one definitely was one of the greatest public address announcers in my opinion. And the thing about him is he had a very understated yet enthusiastic style. He had a and I know me and my buddies will like imitate him and all that, and we used to imitate. He goes because we used to announce. He goes, and now introducing the Boston Celtics, number
Mhm.
33, Larry Bird. So it was it's a very cool style. I'm a little bit animated, but but his style was I love this stuff, and I used to go to the Boston College basketball game, but I used to attend a few games just to hear him announce. The game was secondary, interesting enough, David. Because I would just go to the game just it was worth the price of admission. And I got to meet him a couple times. There was a I remember my first BC basketball game I went to. Um, this was in 2013 or 14 and I went down. I was near I was near the at the Conti Forum. I was near the media tunnel where all the members of the media would go into your main entrance and near the media entrance. And so
Mhm.
I was sitting by the media entrance, and here he comes, and I was oh man, this would be so cool. And then I recognized him because I remember what he looked like watching the Celtics game. I go, Mr. Jack, and I said, "This is an honor." So I took a picture side by side with Andy Jick, and oh man, what a thrill that was! And I didn't get to talk to him about announcing and all that. I was like, I was like, I was like, I was like starstruck, and I was like, oh man, this is so cool, and what an opportunity.
Yeah.
The next year I saw him. It was a North Carolina basketball game. It was a long game. The game took about 2.5 hours. It was a pretty long game because there was an injury, and the game didn't get done. It started about 7:30, and didn't get done until about 10:30. He was tired, and I said, Mr. Jick, great job. He goes, thank you. He was like so tired, and then
Also,
it's amazing. It was so cool to be in his presence.
yeah, and also speaking of Boston, before we get into game shows, um, what do you think out of the four Boston franchises is the most historic to you?
Um, it has to be the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Because they are and also to 18 an unprecedented 18 NBA championships. Um, Now, granted, there's been franchises like the Bruins that they've been around for a long time. The Red Sox have been around for a long time, but uh, my favorite sport my favorite sport is basketball.
Yeah.
Uh, and so the Celtics. Hey, the Red Sox are pretty historic as well. The I would go Celtics, Celtics, uh,
Bruins.
Bruins, and Red Sox to be tied, and then the Patriots.
Yeah.
But Boston definitely is a sports town for sure,
Hmm.
and and
How did you get into
and
game shows,
so,
by the way?
I beg your pardon.
How did you get into game shows? Because I did not know that you're a game show fan before I talked before on air.
I've been watching game shows since the mid '70s when I was like in nursery school. So I'd go to nursery school, then come home. And so I was raised by a single parent, my mom, who is still alive, thank goodness. So I'm very blessed there. So TV was like my dad, David, for sure. And so one of the first among the first game shows I watched were the $25,000 Pyramid with Bill Cullen, the Newlywed Game with Bob Eubanks, the Match Game with Gene Rayburn. Um, I love and the when I watched the Pyramid, I love the set. I love the theme music. And Bill Cullen, let's face it, he's the goat when it comes to game show hosts. It's amazing. He's just a natural. He did it so effortlessly. plus he had a great sense of humor. So throw all that in there. I loved it. And the Newly game was great entertainment. I'll tell you, those couples were funny. And Bob Eubanks, in my
Yeah.
opinion, he was so perfect for that show. His reactions, and also the theme music too. And Johnny Jacobs, who did the announcing, you know, I'll tell you right. I may not have understood what they were saying as a little kid, but but it was just so funny to see them interact. And I'll tell you, if the husband got the wrong answer, the wife would take that answer card, just whack the husband with it. So I found that funny. And but oh, I gave I'll tell you, I was that was so awesome watching game shows back in the day. And yeah,
I also
I've
think
been a fan.
you're familiar with Chuck Norris, right?
Chuck Norris, yes, the karate guy.
Yeah, I actually met his son on David Norris
Hmm.
a little while ago. So shout out to him, of course, for doing the interview. And we also have a question for you, Cherry. It's from Danny Lewis. Uh, did he ever get into game show recordings or trainings?
I haven't. Uh, as far as game show recording, I would tape a couple for my benefit. I got to show you one thing I do have that one of my prized possessions when it comes to game shows. I'll be right back. Let me show it to you guys. Yeah. And
All right.
and and here it is, everybody. This is so here is a here's my
Uh-oh.
version of the Sony ECM 51 microphone used by Bob Barker, used by Gene Rayburn when it's hyperextended like so.
Yeah.
So this is actually this is not the Sony ECM, but it's actually a back scratcher, a telescopic back scratcher that I saw at CVS. Now, keep in mind it had the back scratching device, but I saw the black handle. I saw the four levels of telescopeness or telescopy, lack of a better word. And I
Hmm.
said, you know what? I can make this. I can make this a game. I can make this a classic Sony ECM 51 game show mic. And then later on, I bought this. I bought the Sony AD38 part of the plugs there, but that's the
Yeah.
windscreen that was used there. So I bought one on the
eBay.
Reverb website because and I and then I got some electrical tape. Then I got some duct tape. I got some shoestring, some black shoestring. That I said, you know what? I see a lot of these microphones online go for 500 to as much as $1,000 now, $2,000. I said, you know what? I'm gonna make one for a fraction of the cost. And
Does the
I
microphone work like plugging into something?
it doesn't work. It's a
Yeah.
prop. It's a prop, but you know what? I love it, and you know what? It's so awesome because I'll tell you and that's another thing too, David. Why especially watching the match game and the Price
Yeah.
is Right. And a lot of this was like the microphone of microphones, the 70s and 80s, and when I started as a kid, I go, wow, this was so cool. I made something similar using Tinker Toys and other like build it, but but I said, you know what, I would love to own one of these. And
Oh,
so when I made this, I said,
mhm.
yeah, this is wicked cool.
Any other game show memorabilia that you bought before or no?
There was a book by I think it was Maxine Fabe. I may have it somewhere. It was called TV Game Shows, like a book on game shows. Was published in 1979.
Okay.
So I have that. I had a few home games as a little kid. I had the $20,000 pyramid game. I had a Wheel of Fortune. So there were a few home games I had.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they, there's they're my old houses somewhere, and I
Mm.
regret not taking them
That's
and
fun.
putting them in a storage or keeping them. But that was some of my memorabilia that I had.
Mm.
But this is
Also,
definitely my favorite gizmo for sure.
yeah, and I know that you like watching Wheel of Fortune at Jeopardy not time ago as well with Jack, Say Jack, and also Chuck Worley. And you said that
Hmm.
before that said Chuck Worley is your favorite game show host for Wheel of Fortune, or a favorite game show host of all time, or is it both?
I would say my favorite Wheel of Fortune host is Chuck Woolery. My all-time favorite game show host in general, definitely Bill Cullen. I just,
Yeah,
the 25. I believe he hosted 25 games. He was he was he was warm, very cool with contestants. He was witty, very
mhm,
classy guy. I tell you, and it's amazing too. In 1999, right? But who wants to be a millionaire when that first aired? I guess legend has it the producers were looking for Bill Cullen to host the show, and then realized
yeah,
Bill passed away 9 years previous to the premiere of Who Wants a Millionaire, and they settled on Regis Philbin and all that, and I'll tell you, Bill Cullen would have made an awesome host on that show and all that. Don't get me wrong, Regis did a great job on
yeah,
Millionaire, but it's amazing the producers were looking for Bill Cullen initially. They were there, and that would have been so cool to see Bill Cullen hosting
yeah,
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and being introduced to a new generation of game show fans, and he definitely would have like warmed the hearts of a lot of
yeah,
game show movies and
100%.
new fans. He had a great style of his own.
Um, and what do you think about what's your favorite current game show that is airing right now?
My favorite current, let's see. I think Drew Carey's doing a great job on The Price is Right. I think Ryan Seacrest is doing a great job on Wheel of Fortune. Um, let's see, and
Jeopardy?
I haven't seen GSN in a while. Unfortunately, I don't have that channel, um, but I gotta say, and Ken Jennings, he's doing, what, he's doing a decent job with
Yeah.
Jeopardy and himself. As
Mike Richards
as far,
almost got, sorry to interrupt, but Mike Richards almost got the job before Ken Jennings took it right back, which was
mhm.
a historic turning of events. But Ken
Mhm.
Jennings is great, and he is the GOAT Jeopardy contestant of all time. So,
Yes. Oh my God. I believe the first $1 million winner.
do you remember
I
watching
believe
him back in the day when you were watching Jeopardy? Remember watching that one that he was going for that many days?
that was amazing. What a streak that was. That lasted a long time. He that I'll tell you, he was. Yeah. You put it perfectly, David. The goat of the of the game show contestants
Yeah,
in the modern area, because back in the day it was Tom McKee with Tic Tac Doe.
no,
He won over 300,000, and so yeah, Ken Jennings definitely is in the
hmm,
last quarter century. Yeah, he definitely
yeah,
was the man. Also, as some of the newer game shows, I guess Elizabeth Banks is she's doing a pretty darn good job with Press Your Luck, and Michael's right hand on the pyramid. Even though they're not like um, new original game show, but they're doing a great job of keeping those classic game shows relevant. And it,
yeah,
it and I'll tell you, when I watch them, I'll tell you, sometimes I cry for joy, because I said, this is awesome. These are game shows I grew up with, and these hosts are doing a darn good job, and they're doing their predecessors ever so proudly.
yeah,
For Elizabeth Banks, Peter Tamarkin, and for the pyramid, it's uh, like Bill
hmm,
Cullen, Dick Clark. Yeah, Strahan is doing a great job. So props to ABC or whoever's hiring these people to host the show for doing such a
100%.
great job.
Yeah, 100%. Um, is there anything else that we missed during this interview that we talked about before that we're going to talk about today, or no? Or we could go for
Um,
the thing?
as far as I think as far as game shows, I think what do you think? What do you think? I'll leave it up to you to.
When I think of game shows these days,
Yeah, we think
um,
about yeah. What do you think, David? Yeah.
um, I just the only problem I have is uh, with these game show reboots that they're trying to make it like this next level of rules and all that, um,
Mhm.
and also um, like with mm, I don't know, it's just um, I do love you know they're trying to bring back certain game shows, but it's just not the same. And same with the host.
Mhm.
In my opinion,
Mhm.
Price is Right is still doing great. Let's make a deal. I speaking of, I did hear Price is Right is trying to have some let's just make a deal favor. I don't know. That's just you know something I found out online, and it's just one of those things that and Real Fortune Jeopardy are still doing great, but um, I just hope that they don't mess anything up with returning game shows because you're not gonna recreate the old memories of those game shows. So um, what is one game show that Cherry you will have to break back from the old days that we're not seeing on air right now before we end this interview?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's see. I would love to see the newly game. I know it's rebooted in the early 2000s on GSN.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and I know Car Sharks was rebooted. Like I know Joel McHale
That's the one
did a
problem.
version.
That's what I was referring to with trying to bring back games. Shows. Car Sales was just that. You know. But back to the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, and I guess say the original. I'll tell you the original host of Car Sharks, Jim Perry. I'll tell you, he was an
Yeah.
unbelievable host. I'll tell you, and I'll tell you, he provided a lot of drama, and he was amazing. I'll tell you when he turned those cards, it was like a it was like a it was like oh man, he made that turn of a card so dramatic. It was like the most important thing on in the world and all that, and
Mhm.
and his excitement level was like oh man, it was something else. And then Bob Eubanks, when Bob Eubanks threw, he had a pretty cool style of his own too. So those two guys did a great job on it. But no, you're right. You can't beat the originals for sure, and all that. That's for darn sure. It's like when they remade the Three Stooges back in 2012. That movie, I gotta say they did obviously. Obviously, it wasn't the originals, but you know what? They did a half. In my opinion, they did a halfway decent job of
Yeah.
um, of trying to replicate the Stooges. Um, and I know that a lot of people said, "Oh, this ain't the real Stooges." Yeah, we know that, but you know what though? You know what though? It for what they did though, they're like they're introducing this like to a whole new generation, like
Yeah.
and they're keeping it relevant. And because a lot of the people are watching, they never saw the original version before. They never saw so like you and I and a lot of game show fans, we saw the original versions and we know what that's like. But for some newcomers who are new to the game show genre,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool and all that. So,
One
but
percent. What?
that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. As we end this interview, where can they find you on social media and what to expect from you these days?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that one. Repeat the question one.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
where can they find you on social media and what to expect from you these days?
Okay. Well, I'm on Facebook, um, and so um, I'll tell you, I have I love game shows. I love like football, basketball,
Mm-hmm.
baseball. I'll tell you, when at the playoffs and all that. I'm a big horse racing fan. Hey, tomorrow as we do this, podcast,
Mm-hmm.
the Kentucky Derby's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. But I love talk. I love talking about like old school stuff, like sitcoms, music.
Yeah.
Um, I tell
Seinfeld.
you,
I'm just kidding.
but hey, I'll tell you right now. I love. I'm a big '70s and '80s fan for sure.
Yeah.
So and
Well,
but that's how I roll, David. And that's how I roll. But Facebook is my social media outlet.
mhm.
Also YouTube. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. I listen to a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a lot of different interests for sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much for doing this interview, and we're definitely having you back here on Chilling3000 again very soon.
Sounds good, David. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. All the
You're
best.
welcome. Thank you. That is Jerry, everybody, and we're going to have a transition to our next segment of the weekly baseball rundown coming up very soon. So we'll be right back after these words. Sort of.
2 for 99. 2 for 99. 2 for 99. 2 for 99. 2 for 99.
Okay. Can't take him anywhere.
No, you can't take this kid anywhere. Okay. Welcome to the weekly baseball rundown. I am Joey. I am here with my compatriots, Mr. Salisbury,
How are you?
Brandon,
Howdy do.
Mr. Garfield,
Yo.
and Kurt.
Hey, y'all.
So we're going to start off with our main man over here, Mr. DeJesus. He's going to talk to us about the White Sox, and he will lead off for us tonight.
Yeah, so the White Sox, they avoided the sweep today of the Brewers by the score of 8-0. And Luis Robert actually did something today. He went 2 for 4. He drove in 4 runs. He got an RBI single in the first inning, and then he got a 3-run double in the 7th inning, which made it 8-0. They shut out Milwaukee, like I said. But the one player that I want to highlight is Miguel Vargas. Now, before this game, I did not realize this. In his last 9 games, Miguel Vargas, who we got in a trade with the Dodgers, I think we got him in the Michael Kopech deal.
Yes.
In his last 9 games, he has 13 hits, 394 batting average, 459 on base percentage, 545 slugging, and a 1004 OPS, and he only has 4 strikeouts and 37 plate appearances. Shout out to Shy Sox fan Mike for providing those facts on X. And, you know, and he had a home run today against Milwaukee, and I'm not really sure if this is this trend is going to continue with Vargas, but if he does, he's going to be another trade asset, I think, in July. Granted, I don't think we're going to get a top-end level prospect for him, but if we could get something back for him, he goes to a contending team, that would be a great thing. And another thing, too, with the Sox 8-0 win against the Brewers today, the Sox only have 8 wins, but 5 of them this season have come by 7+ runs. The only team that has more than them, the crosstown rival Cubs. And we're going to be seeing them in a couple of weeks at Wrigley Field. And another thing is the White Sox tomorrow will be debuting their brand new City Connect jerseys against the Houston Astros, in which these new City Connects, they're doing a partnership with the Chicago Bulls. As you all know, Jerry Reinsdorf owns both teams. And I have to say the hat looks really awesome. The jersey, could be better. But definitely my favorite detail of the jersey is that on the back end of it, on the inside, it has all the years that both the Sox and the Chicago Bulls have won world championships. So you have the White Sox with their 3 titles, and then the Bulls with their 6 that they won with Michael Jordan. So I am very intrigued to see what they look like on the field, and we shall see how they go from here again. But I've been very impressed with what Miguel Vargas has done for the team.
I love to hear positivity about the White Sox, especially after all they've been through. And before I move on to Josh, Eric, hello, how are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Just want to make sure that we acknowledge our man in the room. Josh, you are up next. Go ahead and give us your Cub talk.
Thank you. Well, the Cubs played Pittsburgh. They had a 3-game series. They won 2 of 3, which was really, really good. Unfortunately, I'll start off with this. The poor fan, the Pittsburgh fan that fell 20 feet onto the warning track, our thoughts and prayers go out to him as well. Hopefully he makes a recovery. But that kind of shook the game up last night. But again, the Cubs won 2 of 3. And what I'm seeing more and more is a lot of, I don't know if you call them simple mistakes or, just basic baseball mistakes. A lot of errors that shouldn't be really happening with this level of play that these guys are capable of. Dansby Swanson, missing a ball twice in 2 games. When a ball comes off the third baseman's glove that should have been caught, they need to work on the little things to get their offense is good, their defense is good, but it's little things that makes them lose leads like they did last night.
Fundamentals. You go through them in spring training and everything else. And you're absolutely right. Little things lose big games, especially as going forward. The Cubs still are in first place at 19-13, but that is a massive thing. If they're going to play that way and lose by small margins,
and that's going to cost us. I think the game was more thrown off by the poor soul that fell on the warning track, but they had that lead going into the game, and it's silly mistakes that cost them that. And we've seen it in more than one game. So it's a chronic thing that needs to be worked on. But all in all, they won the series good. It's on to Milwaukee, and let's see what we can do there. Although I'm not hopeful. Milwaukee's hard to beat in the NL.
Yeah, they're forced to be reckoned with. I am not doubting that. Mr. Garfield, you are next with the Dodgers and the Mariners.
Hello again. Well, can you believe this? The Dodgers are still the Dodgers, despite the fact that Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow have had to deal with their shoulder injuries. But Shohei Ohtani finally came alive at the plate for the first time in a couple of weeks since he last hit a homer. Max Monte has finally come alive once more. And their offense is looking pretty good so far. Now, as for the Mariners, can you believe this? After a kind of a sluggish start, they finally kind of come alive. Jorge Polanco, as it turns out, is really proving his worth at the plate. However, only time will tell whether they can sustain this momentum. They're looking pretty good.
I see it this way about Seattle. They've always been good. It's just the fact that they have to get over that hump. They have to garner that momentum and make sure that they make it. Once they get to the playoffs, they have to be there and have their offense be there with them with their pitching. I know for the Dodgers, it's going to be rough.
Difficulties that they've had over the past few years, 2022 discounting.
Yes, and that's going to be a big thing. Do you have anything else there, Johnny? Yes, and that's going to be a big
Not much else for now.
Okay. Kurt, you are now up. It is your turn.
Great, thanks. Well, the Mets went 3-4 in the past week, which is kind of a disappointment considering in the previous week they'd gone undefeated. Well, the problem, again, is scoring runs, or in this case, not scoring runs. They had 3 games where they scored 7 or more, and they won 2 out of those 3. They had 4 games where they scored 4 or less, and they lost 3 out of 4. The bullpen lost 2 games in the 9th inning against the Nationals, including a brutal game on Sunday where they had a 7-1 lead going into, I believe, the 7th inning and still managed to lose 7-6. And they lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks at home, which was disappointing, but the Diamondbacks are a good team, so I'm not too upset by that. Right now, the issue is, again, it's hitting. They are scoring a few more runs. Of course, the numbers were fattened up by a 19-5 shellacking they gave the Nationals on Monday. 4 runs were scored off of their old friend Amir Rosario, who, of course, was their shortstop a few years ago. They brought him in to pitch the 9th inning, or the 8th inning, I should say. In any case, looking at this upcoming week, they're going to be looking at seeing they're going to be on the road playing St. Louis 3 games this weekend. Then they travel out to Arizona to play the Diamondbacks again, 3 games next week. The other issue that I could see coming up, both of their left-handed relievers have gone on the disabled list, or the injured list, I guess now, in the last couple of days, A.J. Minter and Danny Young. I'm not sure how much they have to replace those guys with, keeping fingers crossed that they're going to be able to manage. Brett Beatty, they finally sent him back down to AAA to see if he can figure out how to, I don't know. He just may wind up being a great AAA player and not be able to hit in the big leagues. I don't have any more explanations for it. The good news is Juan Soto hit a couple of solo dingers today, so at least he's starting to turn it around. He'll hit. We know that. That's not an issue. So fingers crossed that this upcoming week will be better than the one just passed.
Okay, well, another thing with the Mets is you got to have a guy, because there's no such thing as Loogie, which was a lefty-only guy who came in to face one left-handed hitter. Now you got to have guys who are willing to play the percentages. Hopefully they get that turned around. And for Beatty, he may be the dreaded quad A player, and you don't want him to be something like that. Hopefully he finds a swing next time around. Eric, last but not least, we got our main eventer here. He's going to talk about the Red Sox.
Well, the past 7 games the Red Sox have played, they have won 3 straight. But I'll tell you what, against the Blue Jays, they just lost 2 out of 3 against them. There's one guy, I think if the Red Sox had a bank that supports them, it should not be Santander, because he has been killing the Red Sox. I mean, yesterday, the Red Sox had a 6-0 lead. Blue Jays scored 3, and then 2 more men come on base, and I forget which inning it was. Dude comes up, Santander hits a 3-run shot, and then they won in extra innings. I mean, seriously, that's really irks me. I mean, let's see, this past Thursday, last week, Thursday, they lost to the Mariners 4-3. The Guardians beat them, and that was 2 losses in a row. But the Red Sox won the next 3, 7-3 against Cleveland, 13-3. They started their offense. The past couple of games they played, they had their offense runs in double digits, which I think that's great. But they lost to the Blue Jays, and they lost again 4-2, which it is. I don't know. It's not. They're up and down, but they got 3. They're going back home, 6-game homestand, 3 against the Twins, 3 against the Rangers, and then going out on the road against the Royals for a 3-gamer, and Detroit for a 3-gamer for the rest of May. Then back home at Fenway, interleague play once again against the Atlanta Braves, and then the New York Mets, which is going to be a lot of fun series. And look at the standings. Despite what the Red Sox have been through, it impresses me that they end up in, that they ended up in, second place. If I can get to the standings, please. Okay, thank you. Let's say they're behind 2 games behind the Yankees, which is 18-13. Red Sox 17-16. The Blue Jays, as a couple of wins, are in 3rd place. The Rays 14-17, and the Orioles, surprisingly, after the runs they had for the past couple of years, 12-18. And I think the problem is too, Walker Buehler is back in Boston, needing to be checked out with his shoulder. So I'm hoping that he's okay. I'm very, very concerned about that. So, because we just got Giolito back, and we just got Brian Bayo back. So, and Garrett Crochet seems like he's human a little bit. So, if Walker Buehler goes down, somebody's going to have to step up for him in that rotation. So, I don't know who could be the guy that would step up for Buehler. But one thing is for sure, the Red Sox offense starting to get better. But I'm going to give a shout out to Dalton Varsho. The dude, Jerry Durant hits a fly ball center field. Dude stumbles, looks back, goes a little behind the back catch. I'm like, if that ain't a web jet, I don't know what that is, man. I mean, even though I'm a Red Sox fan, I was impressed with that catch. Like, you stumble and go like this, still catch the ball. And the pitcher's reaction was fun. You know, like, you got it. I had to admit that was a fun play. So, Dalton Varsho, he's another guy that has been haunting the Red Sox too, with the bat as well. So, Red Sox need to find a way to shut down some of their killers, so to speak, if they even have a chance to win the American League East. I know the Yankees can be a tough team but some of these players have been killing the Red Sox. I don't know. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds like each of these teams has been having another quick runaround on this rundown. I do have time for 2 more questions, and this question is going to be picked out here. For each one of you, who is your favorite baseball player of all time? Doesn't have to be for your team. Could be any player. Who is your favorite player, baseball-wise, of all time? And I'm going to start with Josh this time. Then we're going to go Brandon, then Johnny, then Kurt, and then Eric again.
Well, even though he played for the Cubs, I still have to. I would have to say Ernie Banks would be my favorite one, just because two things. He stayed with the Cubs his entire career, which nowadays you really don't do. I mean, which probably limited him at the same time. But he's famous for a quote that if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, and that is 100% correct. He did what he loved his whole career. It wasn't even a career for him.
And Ernie Banks truly was Mr. Cub, and
absolutely,
I understand that feeling of him being one of your favorite players, baseball-wise. Brandon, who was your favorite baseball player?
My favorite baseball player of all time is Jim Thome. I first became a fan of Jim Thome. It's kind of interesting. I was playing Major League Baseball 2K5, and I just wanted to pick a random team. I picked the Phillies, and he's the reason why I became a Phillies fan, because I think I was playing one of my brothers, or may have been against the computer. I'm not sure, but I hit 3 home runs with Jim Thome in that game, and it was a year later. It was right after the White Sox won the World Series. He signed with the White Sox, and I went absolutely crazy. And he was with the White Sox for 3 years. I got to see him a couple of times at US Cellular Field live, and it was a really cool experience. And I know that he helps coach his son's high school team in Illinois, and he will always be my all-time favorite player. And I have a bobblehead of his, which I got back in 2018 when the White Sox were honoring him when he got inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. And he really is one of my all-time, he is my all-time favorite player. And he really is one of the true good guys that baseball has had in quite some time.
And 612 home runs, never once touched a needle. That's what I like about Jim Thome as well. He was absolutely 100% clean baseball player.
Top 10 in home runs all time.
Exactly. That's why he's so great, and I think he's a good pick. Johnny, go ahead and let's hear your favorite player.
Believe it or not, mine's a 2-way tie. Ken Griffey Jr. and Ichiro. The talent that those both guys exuded, one was a power hitter, the other was more of a contact hitter kind of guy. It was a nice contrast, though, even though up until 2009, they didn't play together on the Mariners. But when they came together in 2009 and 10, it felt like kind of an interesting reunion in a way. It's kind of nice to see Griffey end his career back with us, come full circle with Ichiro. Game recognized game, as they say.
There you go. And I think about this fact that if Griffey doesn't go home, he says, to Cincinnati, I think in 2001, they don't win 116 games. They win more than they set the record far and away, better than 116 games. Kurt, your favorite player, if you do not mind?
Not at all. And I keep my my top 5 list in my head, and that includes Curtis Granderson, David Wright, Willie McCovey, and Henry Aaron. But my all-time favorite is a guy who was a star when I first started following baseball, which is, this will give my age away, 1971. So my favorite is Tom Seaver, who was a Mets all-star pitcher then. And I've been a lifelong baseball card collector. So if you see, that is his 1971 Topps card.
Wow.
Nice.
I do have his rookie card, although unfortunately it's not in mint condition. But anyway, Seaver's career was amazing. I mean, he pitched with a so-so Mets team. He ranks 7th all-time in WAR, wins over above replacement for pitchers, according to Baseball Prospectus. The only other pitcher from the post-war era that ranks above him is Roger Clemens, who, of course, you have to wonder about his numbers a little bit. But anyway, Seaver had a career that he really could be proud of. The only regret I have is I decided not to go get his autograph when he was doing a signing out here a ways back. And then, of course, a year or two later, it was determined that he had Alzheimer's. So it was that was unfortunate. But other than that, lots of stuff to be proud of.
Oh, Kurt, I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
During Mr. Seaver's time with the White Sox towards the end of his career in 1984, he actually won 2 games in the same calendar day, believe it or not, May 8th and 9th.
Really?
Yeah, the White Sox were playing against the Brewers that wound up going about almost 20 innings, and Seaver was called in to relieve one of the guys. I can't remember his name, but he won that, and then he won the next game, which was scheduled regularly for that day. How about that, huh?
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He really was one of the... It didn't matter who he pitched for. Even when he was pitching for Boston in 86, the year that the Mets would go on and continue the curse. I'm not trying to rub salt in any wounds, but Tom Seaver really was one of the greater pitchers in his era. And now, I can't wait to hear this one, because I know he's going to have a good one as well. Eric, let's hear yours.
This was a difficult, an excellent question that was posed here. Favorite baseball player of all time. I had a lot of them. I would get a whole list of them. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this. I'm going to go outside the box, outside the major leagues. Shadow Arrow O.
Oh,
that's a name familiar to me.
Shadow Arrow O, the all-time home run king of the world. I mean, the guy is impressive. He's got that samurai stance that he holds the bat like this and does one of these. And he hits almost 800 home runs. Planned to be 868 home runs or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but how he hits a lot of home runs off that stance, it's unbelievable. So, well-respected player in Japan, and that kind of. And I was kind of hoping that he would play in the major leagues, but he didn't get a chance to. And it's a shame. But he did open the door.
He used his weight, but he was. It's weird to say that he was only 5'11" and weighed 185 pounds.
Yeah, which is crazy. But he did open the door for Japanese players to have an opportunity to play in the major leagues. Like Hideo Nomo or Ichiro Matsui. You see guys like Otani now, Seiya Suzuki, Shota Imanoga. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. A lot of doors have been opened, and believe me, Shadow Arrow kind of got even though he didn't make it to the major leagues, he kind of got that foot going of people's love for baseball up in Japan, and I have a lot of respect for him for that. So Shadow Arrow is probably my all-time favorite baseball player of all time. As far as in the pitching side, Roger Clemens, because he struck out 20 guys in one game. Who does that? He did it twice. He did it twice.
10 years apart, no less.
Yeah, that's even crazy. So, I know, whether or not he was on the needle, I'm not going to judge, but I do respect his pitching ability. To strike out 20. Hey, you know what? Having seven Cy Youngs and not pitching no-hitter, that's even crazy. And then Nolan Ryan pitches 7 no-hitters and without a Cy Young. That's even crazier. So, so I'm going to go with those two guys.
Well, those are both good picks, and I hate to say this there, Eric, but no wonder Clemens never pitched in Seattle. He hated the Space Needle too.
I had a feeling. Wow.
Nice one.
That was a good one. I have to admit, I remember Space Needle.
Okay. I had multiple favorite baseball players, but the one that I think about that comes to mind for me is a guy who was never allowed to play in the major leagues. He was only allowed to play in black organized baseball. Josh Gibson. The Black Babe Ruth. That's what they called him. He faced off against Satchel Paige, and Satchel Paige and him had this legendary rivalry where he'd constantly say, I bet you can't strike me out, and I bet you can't homer off me. He ended up having like a Campanella-like stance, and it's too bad because he went to go to the movies one night, and his life and the lights went down, and then they came back up after the movie, and he just passed away from a brain hemorrhage at 35. But I think about it this way. He had one of the greatest careers, and now that they recognize those leagues in general, I think a lot of baseball is showing that there is more than one league to be a part of, and there was all these great players that could have done good against or good for. So, and in a special treat, we got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to bring in the man himself because he asked me to. David, he would like to rant a little bit. Unfortunately, Eric, I'm sorry, we're taking Rant and Rave on the road.
Rant and Rave on the road?
Yeah,
You've already
this is
took me
Mr.
out of
Rant.
before it was over. So.
Yeah, he wants to rant
Rave
some, so I'm going to let him take over for a bit. Go ahead, David.
I'm going to talk about the fan in Cleveland. Yeah. Joey, I actually want your camera on for this, if that's okay. I want to see your reaction.
I heard about this a little bit there, David. I don't like the fact that he did this because I know Jared Duran's had a bit of a problem with mental health. I've had problems like that, but nobody, and I'm not trying to take David's thunder here, but nobody, you don't even tell a baseball player to kill himself when they're struggling with mental health. You do that, I hope they ban you for life. I hope you don't enjoy baseball ever again.
And
all 30 stadiums should have your picture in the front office where they're running for the tickets and tell you you're not allowed to enjoy baseball anymore. You're not allowed to be here. You're not allowed within 100 feet of the stadium. You should never be allowed to enjoy a major league game again, especially considering Jared Duran was so animated and everything that's gone on this week. That is one of the worst things you can do is tell a guy who's had many issues, and he damn near, they even tell the story. He had one of those things. He had a gun.
Yeah.
Bullet in the chamber.
Ready to
boom. Didn't go off.
Yeah.
It did not go off in the chamber. And that proves the bullet wanted him to keep living. And he's been going and getting these sessions done. Yes, he had that incident where he mouthed off to a fan, and I'm not condoning that as a good thing or a bad thing or whatever. It wasn't smart. But the fact that guy had the nerve, and Indians fans, Guardians fans, and Red Sox fans, they were all getting on this guy for good reason, and he deserved it. Because all Jared Duran was trying to do was he grounded out. He was trying to go back in the dugout, and the guy would not leave him alone. And they showed what he looks like. He's a prick. He doesn't deserve to enjoy the game of baseball. That's not a fan. That's a fucking asshole. Excuse my language. But
the umpire should have stopped up and ejected him.
They did eject him, but he's very lucky because I'm sure those fans wanted to tear him limb from limb after that. You do not tell a baseball player that, especially people who know what's going on.
If I was there right next to that fan, I don't know what I would have done except to bury the heck out of him, because you do not tell that about any baseball player at all. And I'm not just talking about my Red Sox players. I'm talking about any baseball player, any human being at all, because many people go through mental health. We are celebrating Mental Health Month for a good reason this month of May, and we don't want anything of that to happen again. Telling people they should have killed themselves when they had the chance. I mean, I'm sorry, that is taking it too far. Not even not Nan's side, and it's just a horrible thing for that person to do. And I am so angry at that fan. I don't even call him a fan anymore. I call him the devil. Eric, I want your piece on it before we end it here.
Yeah, it's really sad, really sad for what that guy said to Jaron Duran. I mean,
dumb son of a bitch.
Player struggles, and we just say, shake it off. You got this. I've always tried to be encouraging. When I go to a wrestling event, sometimes when a person loses, I say, shake it off. You'll get them next time or something like that. And we got to be more encouraging to our players as well. I would, if Jaron Duran grounds, I said, don't worry, you got a lot of speed. You're still a talented young man. We got you. We still love you. What that Cleveland fan did, that so-called Cleveland fan did, was very disrespectful, very dishonorable. And for the other fans to point him out, and would be Cleveland fans or not, they pointed him out. They know they're not stupid. They know, they know Jaron Duran's story, and sometimes people respect him for opening up. And that's why it was hard for most of us to open up our lives, especially on the internet, because we're afraid that some stranger from out of the blue says some rotten thing about us just because of the way we look.
And that's what Duran said in the post game. Not only I'm opening up to my fans, but also to the enemy. So whatever thing he said.
Yeah,
he said something about enemy.
Well, we don't know what kind of enemies are out there. People that don't know us from a hole in the wall.
Yes.
And
we don't know who's behind the screen.
Yeah, it's like who are you to tell me about that? So for the Cleveland fans who outed that fan, shout out to you guys. You guys are the real ones. Much respect, folks out there, and for the Sox players to hold back Jaron Duran. And I don't blame Jaron Duran being upset, but they know if knowing Jaron, they know Jerry Duran could sometimes be a little hot-headed, but a little upset, and trying to hold him down.
We never do that to anybody, no matter who they are.
We don't want Jerry Duran to pull him around our test or anything like that. So we'll smart the Sox teammates too for coming in there, but also the fans outing the guy, and hopefully he does get banned from every ballpark there is.
Just like those.
So he's right up there with the Yankee fans that tried to attack Mookie Betts in the World Series, trying to yank the ball out of his glove.
Yep. I was about to say that. Anyway, Joey, nice to see everybody, and do the closing.
I know this was a very sensitive topic, guys, and I'm sorry that we had to end the show like this, but it has to be talked about. I do say, if you are struggling with that type of thing, get help if possible. If you feel that you're able to, and talk to others around you, and make sure that you're letting others know that you're not feeling the greatest. But from everyone here, from Josh, Brandon, Johnny, Kurt, and Eric, thank you all for watching the Weekly Baseball Rundown. We hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, like Eric says, we hope your life hits you a big home run. Good night, everybody.
See ya.
2 for 99. 2 for 99. 2 for 99. 2 for 90.
You're muted.
There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Family Feud edition here, which is coming up very soon. And there's Eric. And we also have William, Luke, Emon, and Jimin see the chat, and also Eric, who just came up. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing fine. That was some great baseball commentary as usual from the gang of baseball guys. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but yeah, Joey, Kurt, and Eric, including all the other guys, did a great job.
Yeah. Jordy, did you hear some of that at the end there?
Yeah,
What's your point?
I heard about what was said a little bit, and even though I'm not the kind of person that celebrates or pays homage to any awareness month, because I'm not that kind of person, but I will say though, mental health is a serious issue, especially when it comes down to me, because I struggle with depression nearly almost every single day, after my brother died. And, I know I don't have suicidal tendencies as I used to, but I do know that it is real and it is nothing to, fool around with.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I mean, when someone tells you to go kill yourself, I'm just going to say this. The person who says that needs to look in the mirror and see if he's really saying that to you or to himself.
Yeah, 100%. If that person is a full hole.
It also says something too, where that person should be held accountable for what he said, because why would you ever wish suicidal thoughts?
That's the problem. They don't hold themselves accountable. They're children who think they can say whatever they want, do whatever they want, but the problem is there are real life repercussions that they have yet to face.
Yeah.
Again, why would you ever wish a person like that? That is just so disrespectful to like the actual human mind of an actual human being.
Mm-hmm. Eric, you were part of that discussion for a little bit. Do you have any more to say about that?
All I know is if somebody ever told me to kill myself, I would tell them to kiss my butt. Because the fact of the matter is that they people want to bully me and disrespect me. They don't know. They don't know what's like to walk a mile in my damn shoes. Okay, the people that tell other people, "Oh, go kill yourself," they can stick those comments straight up their rear ends. Okay, because they don't know a dang thing about. They don't know a dang thing about that person's life. And to the Cleveland fans that called out that so-called fan on that, I and that's because you have respect for Jerry Durand over opening himself. There's a saying. I think Mike Tyson said it best. People talk tough behind a computer or something like that until they get punched in the face.
I read something like that too, and you know what? I agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they want to talk tough and tugged up, and people tell me get off YouTube, Grandpa. Like I'm not. First and foremost,
like you said,
I'm not old enough to be a grandfather. I'm not even.
When the words come out of your mouth, just be wary that you're gonna have some severe consequences along the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Do you want to take part of this conversation that we're talking about?
Sure, no problem. Yeah, to whatever there's that Cleveland fan, like I just heard, I didn't hear about it until Eric and them brought it up. But
yeah,
if someone told like for example, Mike Trout, I'll just say Mike Trout because I'm an Angels fan. Like, if they said the same thing to him, that would be like, you definitely need to be banned. Like, from all MLB parks after that.
You know what? I'd go one step further. Be banned from all sports and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what my friend said. Well, you have that for dude here? How you doing? Hello. All right. So we're going to do some Family Feud. Are you almost done setting up, Danny?
I got all the questions. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I'll be backstage, and I'll see you guys after we are done with Family Feud to talk for a while. So, Danny, take it away.
David has left me in charge.
Wow, that's great.
Very.
My first order of business tonight's show is brought to you by Bud Light.
They ain't gonna get drunk. We'll call him Drunk Danny after this.
Drunk Danny.
The whole game show drunk. Welcome to
Well,
the Family Feud.
It's ironic. It's ironic, Eric, because he's, since he says he's in charge, that means he's drunk with power.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, Eric, notice how I'm saying. Notice me.
Now, since we're playing the feud, David, can you move me down to the bottom because I'm not an ad. Okay, thank you. Now the teams will be the following. Team 1 will be captained by Brandon Beauregard, and his teammates are Jordan Little and William Braun. So put those three up on the top, please.
Wait a minute. I was here because I was supposed to talk about GTA 6. I didn't know I was participating in anything.
I thought I told you about Family Feud there, too.
You didn't.
It's okay, Jordan.
Wait. Hold up a second. Hold on, David. Can you please just leave me and you on here just for a minute or two, okay? Just take everyone off and just leave me and you right here, okay?
Shit's about.
I'm done it now, David.
Hold on.
I'm sorry for everyone, back there. I just want to get this off my chest real quick. David, could you please tell me ahead of time before something like this kind of happens?
I did told you about it. Let me send it to you privately.
Hold on.
Let me send it to you privately.
Oh, well, I thought it was all about the GTA 5 thing. I didn't know it was Family Feud.
Oh, well.
Maybe I misread it, but still, I thought I was only coming here just to talk about GTA 6 being delayed.
Well, you can do that right after Family Feud, but don't worry, Jordy. You'll be fine, and it's a good change for you. So, yeah,
All right, whatever. Let's just get this over with.
As
Wait.
Ah, shit! What is it?
Oh,
what is this giant dick doing here?
No, Jake, you can leave.
Wait
Get out of here. Get out of here.
second. Wait a second. Where'd David go?
Be gone.
It's like,
we're doing Family Feud there, Jordy.
oh, we're doing Family Feud. Okay.
Be gone.
Oh, okay.
You're messing everything up.
Okay, now David,
David,
put
do you have to kiss the
Brandon
bad boy,
Beauregard,
kicks
Jordy,
the
and
ass.
William up on the top.
I'll leave myself.
Oh, man.
I really should have my admin powers back because I can't control the StreamYard. Okay, now put me on the edit. Thank you. Okay, now rearrange Luke and Eric. Flip them. That's better. No, and flip Jordan and Brandon too, please. Thank you very much. Okay, let's play the feud.
Here, let me flip you off something.
Of course.
Everything's been flipped off on this channel. You kidding me?
I feel disrespected just by Chayton just being uninvited.
I stayed up late for this.
Okay, David, add my screen to the thing, please. Okay, our team captains are Brandon and Luke, so I'm going to need the two of you to use the private chat on StreamYard to buzz in for the face-off, and whoever buzzes in first, I will call on first. Okay.
Don't you mean the private chat?
What did I say?
I think you said the chat or live chat.
Oh, private chat, excuse me. Thank you. Yes, exactly, Brandon. Okay.
Was.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Okay. We surveyed 100 Americans, I guess. We surveyed 100 people. The top 5 answers on the board to this here question. Name something the police might find in a criminal's freezer. Brandon had it first. What do you say?
Head.
A head? All right. That's a good answer. Show me a head. Number 1 answer. Would you like to play or would you like to pass?
Hey, Jay, Will, what are you thinking? Play or pass?
I'd probably keep playing.
Okay, Hurt, we're going to play.
Okay, gonna play. Okay. Jordy, it's your turn. Name something the police might find in the criminal's freezer.
A criminal's freezer?
Yes.
Oh. I think they would probably find ice cream.
Show me ice cream. That's there. All right. William, what do you say?
Oh, you know what? Drugs.
All right. That's a good answer. Show me the drugs. Number 2. All right.
Let's go.
If you get the last 2 answers, you've taken the board. Brandon, back to you. What do you say?
Oh no. Some bugs.
What's that?
Bugs.
Okay. Show me bugs. Oh, first strike. Jordy, we're back to you. Name some police might find in a criminal's freezer.
Weapons like guns and stuff.
Okay. Show me weapons. Number 4. All right.
Nice job.
Will, you only have 1 strike. If you can get this last answer, you guys have swept the board. Name something the police might find in a criminal's freezer.
It could be anything, really, but I'm gonna have to say
5 seconds.
You know what? I'm gonna say blood.
Okay. Show me blood. Ooh, second strike.
Ooh.
Okay, Brandon, it's on your shoulders. Now, if you get this right, you've swept the board. If not, your third strike, and Luke's team gets a chance to steal. I'll repeat it one more time. Name something the police might find in a criminal's freezer.
A criminal's freezer.
I'm doing my Jersey accent.
Dare I say, like a secret note? Or...
Okay. If secret note is there, you swept the board. If not, Luke's team gets a chance to steal. Show me a secret note. Oh, third strike. Okay. Luke, you can ask your teammates for suggestions real quick.
All right, what do you guys are thinking?
I think money, stolen money.
I was gonna say, okay. That's a good. Eric, did you want to suggest the same answer or?
Let's see what Laffy. Laffy, what do you think?
You're muted,
You're
buddy.
muted, buddy. You're muted.
I would say bombs.
Bombs. Okay.
All right, Luke, I need an answer.
I'll go with his answer. We'll say bombs.
Oh, you're gonna regret that. Show me bombs.
Shoot!
It was money.
Cash is stolen goods.
I knew it.
Oh.
You took my answer.
Wow.
Stolen cash. I knew it. I knew it.
All right. Now we need Jordan and Eric, the two from Renton Reeve. How about that? Okay. Point values are double now, and I should point out that we're playing to 300 today. So first team to 300 points gets to play for fast money for 20,000 fake dollars. Okay. Top 5 answers on the board. Point values are doubled. Once again, Jordan and Eric. To this question, we asked 100 women. If you really want to know what a man is like, all you really need to do is look at his what? Eric got it first. What do you say?
Penis.
What?
What?
I knew someone was supposed to.
You said penis.
Tell me penis. Oh, sorry. Jordan, you can take control with any answer.
Wallet.
Show me the wallet. Number 3. Okay, would you guys like to play or
At least
pass?
that's a better answer than mine. Really, Steve Harvey on that one.
Jordy, play or pass?
I'm gonna pass it. I want to see what he's gonna do.
Okay, very strategy. Okay, Michael, it's your turn. We asked 100 women. If you really want to know what a man is like, all you really have to do is take a look at his what? What do you think?
Mustache.
Show me mustache. Strike
Oh
one.
man, I was hoping that would work.
Mr. Thatcher, what do you say?
I would say personality.
Show me personality. Oh, second strike. All right, Eric, let's see if you can save the team from a third strike. We asked 100 women. If you really want to know what a man's like, all you have to do is take a look at his...
I think clothes will be clothes. They say clothes make the man. So.
All right, show me their clothes. All right.
All right, very good.
Staying alive. Okay, Michael, we're back to you. What do you say?
I would say interests.
Okay, if interest is there, you're still in control. If not, Brandon's team will get a chance to steal. If you really want to know what a man is like, all you really need is take a look at his interests. Oh, third strike. All right, Brandon, you can converse with your team real quick. They don't need an answer.
Well, what do you think?
Well,
I say good looks.
but
Good looks.
wait.
Damon?
Like
think that's
you know, like how how handsome he looks and all that.
Appearance.
Appearance. Yes, thank you.
That's the word.
Yeah, but but that's where clothes and shoes come in.
All right.
You're right.
Damon, what do you think?
Well, I'm talking about facial expression.
Yeah, but a facial expression, that's one thing, but appearance, that's like clothes and shoes related.
Facial appearance. Let's do it that way. That's what.
Wait,
Okay.
you're not even a part of this conversation.
I know that.
Anyway,
Okay.
Jordan,
Okay,
what do you think?
I'm trying to help
Brandon.
out here. I mean,
Brandon, I need an answer, please.
Darn it now.
Yeah. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5 Mississippi. 4 Mississippi. 3. 2. Okay.
Oh, we got the money.
Luke's
All
team
right.
gets the points. Luke's team gets the points. Okay.
All right. Nice job.
Let's see number 5. You had to be a little more.
Hands
If you had said hands or nails, I
nails?
would have got it. Yeah, I don't know. Show me number 2. Home or
and bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see the number 1 answer was car.
Car and truck. Oh,
Why didn't we think of that?
Okay.
Oh,
Well, at
okay.
least the scores even out. So
Well, then again, we're trying to get into women, not how women get into men, but whatever.
yeah. Well, yeah. Leave it to you guys to figure out what women would think. Okay.
we're all idiots.
Danny. Danny. I mean, there is an ass whooping heading your way. You know that,
right? Okay. Point for triple. I need.
I mean, you may be the host, but I got no problem with doing that. I mean,
That's
Stone
okay.
Cold did the Vince for many years, so
That's how it is. Okay. Now I need William and Michael Laffey, please.
Okay.
Okay. Top 4
All right.
answers are on the board. This could determine the game. Let's see. Point fires of triple. We surveyed 100 people. Top 4 answers are on the board. Name something firefighters wear. Michael Haddon first. What do you say?
A mask. A breather thing.
Okay, show me the mask. Number 4.
Yes.
Okay. William, what would you say to steal?
A firefighter hat.
All right, show me the firefighter hat. Yeah, Judd says that's the right helmet. Okay, would you guys like to play or pass?
I'll play.
Brandon, you want to play or tell teammates what do you want?
I'd say go for it.
Yeah, I say go for it too.
Okay, go for it. Okay, Brandon, what do you say? Name something firefighters wear.
Okay, I'm gonna go with their jacket.
Okay, show me their jackets. Yep, that's all right. Yeah. Okay, Jordan, if you can get this right, you guys have won the game. If not, first name something firefighters wear.
Come on, Jordy.
Where's something firefighters wear? God. Why do you always have to put me on the spot?
I got 5 seconds.
What other choice is that?
4, 3, 2.
Boots.
Oh, okay. If Booth is there, you guys have won the game. If not, it's your first try. Show me Booth.
They probably got
There you go.
it,
You
yeah.
guys have won.
Nice job, guys. I knew you guys will get it.
You almost
Good job.
That was a layup.
That was so
Come on.
easy.
Triple the points, you guys got a layup.
All right. Well, thank you to Luke, Eric, and Michael for playing. We have some imaginary parting gifts for you. Now, you guys get to play
I got
Fast
my
Money.
parting
Now, Jordy, did you? I'll need 2 of you to decide amongst yourself which one wants to go first and second.
I got my own parting gift. A lifetime frosted box of Yeets. Frosted Yeets. Yeets.
Yeet.
Yeah, there you go.
That never gets old.
Nope.
With the use, okay. Brandon, decide of your teammates who of you wants to go first or second.
Oh, great. The viewers are dropping because of that.
Hey, okay. Well,
Let's take a commercial break right now and spotlight.
Hey, here's my consolation prize. Box of frosted yeets. Okay, you can put everybody back on now. What's the? I could.
Darn it. There we go.
Oh, Luke's gone.
Yeah. Hey, Tori, you won the game. Congratulations.
Now I got to do the bonus round. Now I got to do the bonus round. So who wants to go first?
So I made Luke run off. I feel
No.
sad.
It was probably Saturday or something.
Frosted mini yeet.
Okay, Jordan, do you want to play the bonus round, or would you rather just sit and watch the other two do it?
You should try it.
I say go for it, man.
I'll go for it. I mean, I did win the game, like the main game. I mean, I can do the bonus game, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jordy's going for it. William, what about you?
Yeah, I say go for it, man.
William, you want to play the bonus round
me
as well?
or you?
Wait. Say it again. I'm sorry.
He wants me to do it, right?
But I need two of you to play the bonus round. One has to go first, and one has to play the second.
Jordy said so. Yeah. So do you
know
William,
what?
do you want me or do you want you?
I'll let Jordy take this first.
No, wait.
Wait.
William, do you want you or Brandon to play second?
Two people need to play fast money, William.
All right,
That's
I'll
how
play
you-
second. I'll play second.
Oh.
All right. Sorry.
I'll play second.
Okay.
You gotta be specific.
Why should the team captain do all the heavy lifting?
You could have
Team Captain Eric.
Okay. Okay. Now, William, put on some headphones or look away so you won't hear the questions because that does kind of be tricky for the second player.
About to lower your volume on your computer.
Oh, that's true too. Hold on, I'm gonna share my screen here. David, put just me and Jordy up on the screen, please.
On the screen.
Did I say screen?
Please. No, you didn't say squeen, but you should.
Okay.
Because I could be too stupid for this. That's what Brandon.
All right, let's play fast money. Jordy, I'm going to ask you 5 questions in 20 seconds, and if you guys can rack up to 200 points, you win $20,000.
All right.
Time starts after I finish reading the first question. Good luck. Okay. 20 seconds on the clock. Time starts as I finish the first question. Here we go. We asked 100 married women, your husband thinks he's the world's greatest what?
The world's greatest kisser.
Name something Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is famous for.
His eyebrow.
Name a U.S. city where they know how to party.
New York City.
Name something you slap on a bun.
Damn it.
I'll let you do it. Just think.
Slap on a bun. Maybe some condiments like ketchup.
Okay,
mustard,
ketchup. Okay. And the last question: name something people fall from.
From cliffs.
Okay. We'll take it. Okay, let's see how you did.
I sound dark there, though.
A little bit. Okay, let's take a look how you did. We asked 100 married women. Your husband thinks he's the world's greatest what? You said the world's greatest kisser, and the survey said 34, number one answer. Okay, I figured you'd like this question. Name something Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is known for. You said his famous raised eyebrow, and the survey said 5.
What?
Okay.
Everybody knows about people's eyebrows.
Name a U.S. city where they know how to party. You said New York, and the survey for that was 21. Name something people slap on a bun. You said condiments. I needed a more specific answer. Then you said ketchup, and the survey said 7. Name something people fall from. You said, I think, that would be the same as trees because the cliff is on a tree. So we'll give it to you. And that was worth 18. Okay, you got 85. Not bad at all. Now we got to bring out William. Buy my red bubble. Okay. Hi, William. Welcome back. Jordy got you 85 points, so all you need is 115, and you guys have won the $20,000.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's put 25 seconds on the clock. Good luck. Here we go. We asked 100 married women.
Danny, I don't see the screen.
Oh, I'm going to share it afterwards because, It'll make okay. 25 seconds on the clock. Here's the first question. We asked 100 married women. Your husband thinks he is the world's greatest what?
Hooker.
Name something Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is known for.
His wrestling.
Okay. Name a U.S. city where they know how to party.
Los Angeles.
Name something you slap on a bun.
Patty. Like a burger.
Okay. Name something people fall from.
Stairs.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Now let me share my screen here. Now, I didn't catch it. What did you say for the first question? Your husband thinks he's the world's greatest what?
Hooker.
Hooker?
Hooker.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Danny, you dumbass.
I'm sorry. Cook. I thought you said talker first. Let me change that. Okay. Very good. Very good. Forgive me, people. You said cooker, and the survey for that was 10. Lover/kisser was the number one answer. Name something Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is known for. You said wrestling. And the survey said 26. His muscles or his bodybuilding was the number one answer for that one. Name a U.S. city where they know how to party. You said Los Angeles. And the survey said 10. New Orleans was the number one answer. All right. Name something you slap on a bun. You said a patty. That's the number one answer. And the survey said 50. Okay, all you need is 19 points, and you won $20,000. Okay, name something people fall from. You said stairs. If that's worth 19 points, you've got $20,000. What did the survey say? 19 exactly. You got 200 exactly. Fall from ladder was the number one answer. Hamburger patty was the number one answer for that one. And you guys got 200 even. That doesn't happen very often. Congratulations. And that was fun.
I knew we would do it.
Yay.
Now, Mr. Beauregard, what do you say?
Thank you, and thank you. I knew I picked you for this. I would have not done that.
That was great. That was great. I knew you guys would get it. Once
never
I saw
had
that
that
55 bucks, you guys got this.
Never had that before. 200 on the nose. This would be like a special prize. For
Great
that.
job, guys. Great job. Yes.
Hey, Jordan, you should be proud of yourself for winning the game tonight. You know.
Well, I was put in a very uncomfortable spot, but you know what? I'm kind of good with whatever. I kind of like to overcome.
And Jordy, you should be grateful of me, just carrying this game over. But
carrying this game over.
Yeah.
It was a team.
Because I said the number one answer for what does Dwayne Johnson do? Wrestling.
I had the number one answer for the freaking what does a wife say about her husband too?
Yeah. Well, I
thought
said.
you said. I thought you
Actually,
said both of you. That's why I was laughing.
I said hooker just to be different.
I heard talker, hooker. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Hey, Danny.
Or chef,
This is what I have to say for you on that mistake, Danny.
Damn it, Danny.
Go fuck yourself.
But no, actually, to clarify, the number one Dwayne "Rock" Johnson answer was his muscles.
Why would it be muscles when he's always been known for wrestling? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make. I think.
Well, then again, to be fair, he's one of the best bodybuilders. So he mostly known for his videos.
I mean, the thing is, he was always known and famously known for wrestling, WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it.
Rock bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Rock. I was so shocked. The Rock was not at WrestleMania. I don't know why he was not.
Oh my God. I think that was a dumb idea of him not being there. And he's saying he wanted the spotlight for Cena and Rhodes. Look, you were part of the storyline. You should be a part of the match. Not that freaking,
exactly
brown costume looking Batman, freaking Travis Scott.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
would you
believe
ever
me.
bring Travis Scott into WrestleMania when your only appearance this year was the Elimination Chamber?
Oh, by the way, yeah, I mean what I say. Brown costume Batman. He actually had a brown Batman costume on Halloween, and then people made fun of him for it, and yet he got so
Wow.
offended by it.
I
Like,
mean, the only appearance in that Elimination Chamber, and look what happened to Cena.
Da, 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 da.
He became the villain.
I mean, yeah, he became the villain, but only
And
because
believe
of
it
The
or
Rock.
not, does he now hold the Guinness World Record for the wrestler to have ever turned heel for the, longest
Like
time?
23 years, 22 years
23
and a
years
half.
now?
22 and a half years, I think.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric.
Well, he debuted in 1996 in the WWE.
No. He's talking about John Cena.
Oh, Cena? Okay,
Yeah, about his
he debuted
heel
in
turn.
2000.
You know, like how he started off as a baby face and now he's become a heel.
Yeah, 2003 he did that. So about 22
So
years.
yeah, he now holds a record.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it is his last year this year, so who knows? He may come back from retirement in 10 years. Imagine that.
I hope we're still making content and doing this show in 9-10 years. That'll be fun.
Like Rate and Rave? No. Imagine that, Jordy, in 10 years you do Rate and Rave. No.
Well, that would be 5 years past its contract. But hey, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, am I right?
Who knows? It might get a spinoff. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't predict the future.
Yes, because I'm the man of the future. So speaking of the future, let's talk about GTA 6 there, Jordy. You got a rant.
Okay, so I recently heard that Rocksteady Games is delaying the release of Grand Theft Auto 6 for another year. I recently just discovered about this on Facebook earlier today. Well, first of all, I got up, around at 1, p.m. for some reason. I got 12 hours of sleep, which means I must have been sleeping like a baby. But my mom got things taken care of and all that, so. And this is what Rockstar had to say. I think did I say Rocksteady or Rockstar?
The second one.
Okay. So Daniel Russellman, give a shout out to him. He shared this in the network community, and it states, and I quote, Grand Theft Auto 6 is now coming in May 26, 2026. We are very sorry that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. Yeah, because it's gotten the most, viewed video on YouTube since its release trailer. We want to thank you for your support and your patience as we work to finish the game. With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. Okay, I can understand sometimes you need to delay certain projects, whether it's a TV show, a movie, a video game, or even, live, shows or whatever. But the thing is, this game has been in the works and development for over 9 years. Okay?
Uh-huh.
9, not
9.
not bullshitting.
And it's going to be 10 years until its full actual release next year.
But it just really, pisses me off that, you got to have these people say that we're going to delay this for a whole year, even though we were going to do it later this year, maybe in the summer, the fall, or whatever. And I'm like, you're still delaying the inevitable. I mean, what is there for you to add on there that shouldn't already be added? I mean, the cinematic, in-game scenes look amazing. I mean, it's nothing like you would pull out, bad graphics, for the, other cutscenes, but.
May I interrupt? They shouldn't release the actual date until they're actually done with the testing, updating everything, and done with the game itself.
I believe they've already done all the testing. Maybe they're trying to get rid of other bugs and stuff like that. But then again, or maybe other glitches or something. But still, that's the whole point in a video game. Sometimes there's going to be glitches sometimes, and sometimes you can avoid them. Sometimes you can just have fun with it. But either way, I just think, it's pardon me for saying this, but I think it's bullshit. I think it's ridiculous.
I'm 100% sure too that Romy will be talking about this in full details when it comes to like the next Bullfest episode. But yeah, I kind of agree that delaying the inevitable is just, I mean, what is there left to see? And besides the fact, like, what stage is Rockstar is at this point?
Yeah.
The only thing they could do, even though again, I know that Sony is trying to do their best to try and release, whatever they can of the next PlayStation console, the PS6, which I feel like that should be a topic for, for discussion maybe in the future regarding other future consoles. Because I'm getting the feeling that some of these consoles are really pushing it, not just with pricing. And by the way, it is not Trump's fault that the prices are rising. Let's be real on that.
Let's not forget what Microsoft has fallen into that trap.
Oh yeah. So
it's called inflation.
It's not Trump's fault that the prices are rising. It's because these ignorant game developers and all these companies are trying to raise prices because they think their finances are going down or plummeting. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's been going up ever since people have been like buying the things with digital currency, also physical currency with physical media of their video games. I mean, you can't just sit there and say that it's Trump's fault that the prices are rising. Not.
You know what sucks, Tori? Inflation.
Inflation, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The word of the decade.
People can say what they want about Trump. I mean, everyone has an opinion.
He hosted The Apprentice,
He also hosted WrestleMania 4 and 5.
He was also the banker on Deal No Deal, right there, Danny.
And he's not really there at the moment. He's muted and he's got his camera turned off. But anyway, my point is, you can like the guy, you can dislike the guy, but you cannot not say that he's responsible for these prices going up. I mean, I'm sorry, you can't mix politics in with the video game industry. You just can't.
Yeah, man. For those who
that'd be ridiculous.
For those who make up those lies.
What?
Done it, StreamYard. Oh, there we go.
Go fuck yourself.
There we go. That is also another quote of the decade. There's
Speaking of which, Cody Rhodes ain't going to be around for a while. I think he's taking a break for a while after the year-long run he had with the WWE title, which I think he deserves. So hopefully
did you saw the Pat McAfee situation the other week on Raw with him getting fighting that
Wait, are you talking about the that time? With, oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I saw that too. I'm just Gunther, you're better than this.
Yeah, and yet there's a reason why they're doing that. They're trying to make Gunther be leveled down a bit, just not to go after the world title again because they don't want to see him lose back to back. Here's the thing. If rematches happen on the month after a great event like WrestleMania, even though it wasn't really that great if you look at how it looked.
And why would they want to choke an announcer? They have nothing to do with that.
Because they're trying to build up a match between Pat McAfee and Gunther. That's all they want to do. But the problem is, why pair him up with Pat McAfee? I mean, I feel like that's like degrading him from being in the main event picture to just fighting a guy who shouldn't even be wrestling, in my opinion.
And he got choked.
You got choked. Here's the thing. That wasn't real. Okay, I will be frank with you. See what you see. That in wrestling, it is all just a work. Okay, even The Rock said it best, even though I don't agree with the way how he did it towards someone else because someone had an opinion for ranting on it. And no, it wasn't me. Apparently, it was someone else on. I think it was Busted Open Radio. See, the thing is, when wrestling is scripted, it comes down to it on making a story. They're trying to make a story between Pat McAfee and Gunther. I mean, if you're going to have someone go off and attack announcers, I mean, yeah, you're just looking for a suspension angle. I can get that. But
And
when
you said on that live stream, Gunther did a great job of trying to save Pat McAfee and all that on that stream, because he was trying to protect his friend and all that, And same with Pat McAfee trying to save his broadcast partner.
Michael Cole, and a lot you could say what you want about Michael Cole, but still, I mean, come on, you don't need to be ragdolling the guy around. I mean, he already went through that in 2011, 2012, that kind of deal.
Yeah, it's just you don't fight people for no reason and try to get, because there's a thing called evidence as well. So.
Well, it's not just that. He only did that because he was upset that he lost the world title, which is part of the story, which I can understand that.
Yeah, like he was so upset to where like his last nerve literally got shot and he choked Pat McAfee. It was crazy.
And the thing is, I could understand just choking him out, but then all of a sudden, you're just doing this to build a match between those two. I could see that happen, and I'm like, dude. And I'm thinking, Triple H, what are you even thinking? Are you really want to build a match between Gunther and Pat McAfee? And guess what I heard, last night? I heard that Romy read an article that they're going to probably have, Gunther, take some time off as to why, I think it was probably because, why he choked Pat McAfee out. But you're going to have a build-up or just, let him, build a match between him and Pat McAfee for Backlash. In St. Louis.
St. Louis. Wow.
Yeah, it's true. It's going to be in St. Louis.
No relation, by the way.
Yeah.
I just think it's ridiculous. If anything, Gunther should have, destroyed a couple of low-tier card wrestlers or mid-carders, but instead, or maybe, but then again, it's always the same. You got to have somebody involved in wrestling that used to be a football player, but there's sometimes they can be good athletes. Well, Gronk, he can't transcend to wrestling now for some reason. I don't know what his deal is. Then again, if he did, I hope he can wrestle good than Pat.
Yeah, because Pat McAfee cannot wrestle. He's
he's trained to be one, but the thing is, you've got to have true talent to be a wrestler.
He tried to get in the ring one time and then went out for no reason. Remember that?
Yeah, years ago when he was, I think he was playing for Indiana.
He was in the ring and it was ready to fight, and then I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but
the Royal Rumble that was supposed to be Brock Lesnar's spot, but unfortunately, Pat, just filled in that spot. I just don't understand what was the point. They could have had anybody else do it.
Yeah,
and that was last year, and damn, we've come a long way.
If time goes by, I don't know.
Either way, I don't agree with the fact they want to pair him up with Pat McAfee, Gunther with Pat McAfee just to build a storyline and have a match between those two. I don't agree with it because I really think that if anything, we should have people on the active roster of wrestlers, should be paired up with him. But
exactly.
But then again,
Go on.
then again, what are we to do? We're only spectators. We can't change the script. We can't even flip the script or flip a bird at him, directly unless we're at a live event.
Yep.
So,
like you did.
All we gotta do is watch things play out.
On the Call Bird podcast.
That was a great show.
Yeah, keep drinking that beer, asshole.
Yeah, the drinks are making me talk about these old shows. It's terrible.
Hey, at least something. Hey, Danny, what wrestlers are you familiar with that you remember?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What wrestlers are you familiar of?
Okay, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan, he's a wrestler, right? Or a boxer?
He's a wrestler.
Okay,
but then again, what he said early on in the year, that's just
Yeah.
What did
Right,
Hogan
Jordy?
say?
You remember that time where he sold that belt?
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
Yep. That was stupid.
John Cena, of course.
Woo, apple juice!
A lot of people hate Cena.
Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI.
Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he was at WrestleMania 24 and quote unquote competed, but he was never a wrestler.
He's mostly a UFC fighter.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly.
No, he's a boxer.
I thought he's mostly.
No,
Floyd
Money Mayweather Jr. is a boxer. He is not an MMA fighter.
I'm probably thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
I think, when it comes down to it, I think boxing can be a more rigged sport than mixed martial arts, in my opinion. Dude, did you see the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight?
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah.
It is rigged. It's no different than pro wrestling.
Yeah. Don't get me started. I was literally about to fall asleep during that match. It was so boring.
I wonder how much those tickets would cost.
I'll tell you right now.
Why Mike Tyson is always, keeping his distance. I wonder why.
Dude, he could have easily knocked him out.
Yes, he could have. You ever seen his past, fights where he literally take blows into him? It was crazy.
Hey, Eric, what is your favorite wrestler, Eric? And I'll say this to Jordy and William, from each decade that you have watched wrestling.
From each decade of watched wrestling?
Yes.
I want to say each decade for me personally.
Can I come in now, you motherfuckers?
If you answer my question.
Here we go.
What's your question, David?
I'm asking this question for each person on here who watches wrestling. What is your favorite wrestler from each decade that you have watched wrestling?
From each year?
From each decade. Each decade.
Oh, okay. Jordan, I want to hear yours first, and then I'll answer.
Well, I didn't start watching wrestling until late 90s. I mean, I was very young back then, but if I'd had to choose on the decades from the 2000s and 2010s, I'd have to go with AJ Styles for both decades.
2010.
Yeah, 2000s and 2010s.
Okay. And what about 2020s?
Still haven't figured that out yet. I mean, AJ is still in his top condition. It's just that it's only a matter of time before he might, retire.
Mm-hmm.
But if he still continues on throughout 2020s, then I'll put him on there.
All right. Sorry, before I go to Eric.
Okay, so with me, 1 second. Gotta see where my cigarettes are. Okay, got that.
Yeah, you're smoking something.
Anyway, well, okay. I started watching, I think, what was it, 97? I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna still go with 90s. I'm gonna go with 2000s, 2010s, and 2020 so far. So if I had to go with 90s, it would either be between because there's a lot of good ones, but I would probably say, you know what? For 97 alone, I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels. Undertaker would be a close second, but I'm going to go with Shawn. 2000s, that one also is kind of tricky, but I'm going to go with The Undertaker because most of my favorite Undertaker matches came from that decade. His matches with Shawn, his matches with Flair, his, the American Badass, Big Evil. Probably close second would be Brock Lesnar. 2010s, I would go with AJ Styles would be also in 2000s. I will say that. 2010s, I'm going to go with CM Punk. Even though he was really only there for 2010 to 2014, but to me, he was so impactful to my life. So I'd probably go with him. In 2020s, It's a toss-up between Bryan Danielson and MJF. Because I'm looking at not only match quality, but I'm talking about people who have impacted me a lot. I'm probably going to go with MJF because I feel like we're only halfway through the 2020s, and I still feel like he's done a lot. He's really one of the only things that is still worth watching of AEW. But yeah, those would be my things like Shawn Michaels for 90s, the Undertaker for 2000s, CM Punk for 2010s, and or MJF for 2020s.
All right, Eric.
Okay, this is a tough one because I watched this.
You've seen a lot of decades, man.
Yeah, I was going to say Eric's is the most I'm interested in hearing.
Well, I'm a newbie.
This is a very tough one. You know, I could say the obvious Hulk Hogan, but I would go, besides the Hulkster himself in the 80s, I would go for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Because Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I was, before I got into wrestling, I like watching the old Kung Fu movies and all that, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
well, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was the first guy.
But he was never.
So is he for the 80s, Eric?
What?
Is he for the 80s or 90s, Eric?
He's the 80s in that one.
Okay.
The 80s in that one because I know he took place in WrestleMania 3 for goodness sakes. The 90s, I would have to go with two people: Bret Hart and the British Bulldog.
I'm interested in your explanation for Bulldog. Bret, I get. Bret Bret, I didn't grow appreciation for till later on, but I want to hear why Bulldog.
Bulldog, pound for pound, he was one of the strongest guys in the WWE back in the World Wrestling Federation. Always, he's always been one of those guys who always, he's worked very hard and he's always like a nice guy. Well, when it comes to that, when it comes to the Bulldog in the 90s, the early 90s would be the Bulldog and Bret Hart, and I would say we're going back to the 80s though. Also, Roddy Piper would be another one because he was entertainingly funny.
Yeah.
90s. Yeah. So the 90s, Bulldog, yeah, he was the Intercontinental Champion. And once he became a heel in the mid 90s, I thought, it's like, okay, that will give him more opportunities. And,
he had a great match with Bret, I think, for the WWE title at an In Your House show, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there was I think Winter Combat, I think it was.
That was I think where Bret bled a gusher. One of the rare times we saw that back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Bret Hart and Bulldog, Bret Hart in the early 90s, especially from 91 and 92 were his best years.
Yes, I do agree with that.
And actually, the first 3 years of the 90s were his best years because he won the tag team title in 90. 91, he won the Intercontinental title. In 92, he finally won the WWE title.
I've always said this about Bret. Bret's best in-ring era was probably 90 to 96. I feel like 97 was also a great year for him, but I felt like that was more for outside of his match with Austin. That was for character development because I felt like he got more of a personality as like the anti-American guy in 97 with the Hart Foundation. And also I said my favorite moments of Bret in WCW were more so his promos, like the Goldberg promo when Goldberg speared him, or the El Dandy stuff, or
you know what? I gotta say this, El Dandy. I think that was. I kind of agree with Bret to an extent. I mean, come on, let's give El Dandy a push.
Well, and like I said, Bret Hart's also one of those guys who was triple crowned in both WWE and WCW at one point. So
that's true.
Yeah, so
yeah, because he only held the tag team titles with Goldberg, right?
Yeah,
yes, he did. The irony.
Yeah, I know, right?
And he won the United States title. He did win the world heavyweight title there at one point. So
If he had went to ECW, he probably would have done the same thing.
yeah,
I've always said Brett, if Brett didn't go back to WWE, if he didn't retire, and if everything still happened with WCW, I said that if Brett didn't go directly back to WWE, he would have been perfect for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you know, when he got that stroke and all that, he was kind of like nervous.
Well, yeah, but I'm just booking it as like if none of that happened.
I need to continue because I'm up late for this crap. So why don't you just let me continue? Because every time I
go
mention
ahead.
Bret Hart, you guys went off on a tangent as usual.
You know I love
You're
Brett,
interrupting me,
Eric, so you know I get
I'm trying
like
to
that.
continue. I know everybody know. Thank you, David. Yeah, so Bret Hart, Bulldog. I've always 98. I would go for The Rock because back then he was entertaining with his catchphrases. You know, his theme songs were pretty cool back then. So yeah, so late 90s, early 2000s. I go for The Rock. Mid 2000s, I would go John Cena because of his rap and everything else.
Dr.
Not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. 2010s. That's going to be a tough one. I would go. Oh, jeebus. Holy crap. Oh, that's right. I put TNA as a factor into it too. Because he had TNA, he had Ring of Honor. I would go with Samoa Joe.
He dominated both ROH and TNA. It's true.
Yeah. Samoa Joe was one. You know,
the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.
Well, even Joe in 2010s, like a lot of people would think Joe's was washed at that point, but you think of some of the things like TNA, he did some stuff in Ring of Honor, and then also his stuff like with Brock Lesnar, as short as it was, but in what was it 2017, I think. That was some great stuff, you know. So yeah, I'm not like Joe would probably go more in 2000s for me, but I still wouldn't disagree with that.
Oh, one more wrestler from the 90s. I wanted to go. So we were talking about WCW. I want to go Ultimo Dragon. And
that's a good one.
And another one from the between the 80s and 90s, also the Great Muta, one of my favorites as well. Let's fast forward to 2010s. Like I said, Samoa, I did 2020s. Another difficult one. I'm trying to let me see if I went. Let's see if I was checking it out in AEW. Because they're all good wrestlers, to be totally honest. I've always like. I've always.
That's what
I've
it
always.
says.
Mark Briscoe has been, growing on. Mark Briscoe has been. Mark Briscoe, because he fought with a lot of heart and he earned my respect,
Mm-hmm.
and so I go with that. If you ask me who my favorite women's wrestlers on, we'd be all here all night. So, so that. But no, all these guys I respect, and my favorite wrestler of all time out of all these gentlemen is a very difficult one. I have to go with The Rock because back then when he wrestled, he knew how to cut promo. He knew how to cut promos. He was a third. I always liked history makers, and The Rock was the first third generation superstar in the WWE, and that's history in the making right there. And I've always liked that history making. And he's like, he's like a third generation wrestler. That's cool. I thought that was totally cool. And he's always been one of the best in talking. He won titles, and he can go, and I think he's very athletic. And he's getting into acting now and all that. Businessman, so he's done everything as far as revolving around wrestling. Would it be the wrestling, the promos, the business end of things? The Hollywood acting and all that, and all for him to do all that, and he's opened up a lot of doors. So, like I said, Roddy. The reason why I picked Roddy
Darling.
because he's
That's a
one.
great picture.
He was one of the. Oh boy, Roddy Piper started the Rock and Wrestling Connection thing, or the whole feud with him and Hogan. And what the heck?
What, David? What are you
David,
doing?
David just hit himself with a chair because Charlie changed his picture to a.
ECW, 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 ECW.
Where are you at, David? Like I see those lights and the light.
I'm at my porch.
You just shocked him with a picture of him in a Yankee uniform. You don't do that.
Yeah, Charlie. That's Tyler's Calver's picture.
Dude, that's blasphemy to a Boston fan.
That's Tyler.
No, the blasphemy. Jordan could attest this is making him Jesus.
Oh,
blasphemy. I have to agree with you there, but still.
That is true, though.
For us Red Sox fans, like David and myself, that's a blasphemy what you just did.
You know, I thought about putting this as my logo or like my profile pic for his phone number on my contacts, but then I decided no, I'm gonna have the Jesus one just for shit. So that way, whenever he calls me, I get a little chuckle before I answer.
Sorry, you want to hold before with this Hangout Session because I need to.
What, David? I couldn't hear you. Did you hurt your head from the chair shot you just gave yourself?
My back is sore. Can you hold the floor before?
I'm about to leave because I gotta get up at 9. I just came in here for a few minutes. You schmuck.
All right, I'll land to stand by here. So
Yeah, same here. I gotta
wanna
hit that pretty soon.
Well, I got something to say because I think Eric, I don't know if you know about this, but there was a ton of releases today.
I addressed that. I addressed it on my video on SmackDown.
I'm gonna get out of here, guys. So y'all have a good rest of the stream. Later.
All right. You have a good night.
I've read all about it. I've read all about it.
I mean, I know about the Shayna Baszler one, but these are ones that I did not know, and I want to read them off. So apparently today WWE decided to release the following, considering it's not only just spring cleanup, it's also post WrestleMania cleanup and releases. Braun Strowman, who recently came back a couple of years ago, which is, I mean,
it's a shame.
Again, I don't know.
He was one of my favorites.
Cora Jade, I'm like, dude, like now she can't even go into the main roster. What was the point?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dakota Kai, she was released again. I think that was bullshit right there. Eddie Thorpe, Gigi Dolan, Jakara Jackson, Javier Bernal, Joe Coffey, Katana Chance, and Caden Carter, Mark Coffey, Oro Menza, Riley Osborne.
Oro Menza and Javier Bernal. There were two more. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Riley Osborne, Shayna Baszler, and Wolfgang.
Yeah, the whole Gallows gang. Yeah, Bernal and Menza are the two extra ones I did not know about. So.
Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this 173rd episode of Chilling3000 Hangouts. I want to personally thank everybody who joined on the show tonight, including Jerry for doing the interview with me. That was
Jerry.
Not Jerry Springer.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul, yes. And God rest everybody's souls that we lost in this terrible decade of the
Roaring 20s.
Roaring 20s, yes. And that'll be it for this episode. And I'll be back next week for episode number 174 of Chilling3000 Hangouts. And as we're almost there to the halfway point of getting there to episode 200 at the end of this year. So, that being said, good night and big balls.